So the next step of training our AI agent is specifically on Sotogrande subjects, and one of the things that came up was the average cost of properties in Sotogrande.
Well, the average in Sotogrande, there's actually a belt around Sotogrande, so I believe that includes places like Torre Guadiaro, where we are now, Pueblo Nuevo. So the average is about 3,000 to 3,500 per square meter right now. So the average sales price of a property in Sotogrande is 1.5 million, but that's inflated by the super villas in La Reserva. So that's basically it, yeah.
Okay, and the key neighbourhoods or areas around Soto?
Well, as mentioned, there's kind of a commuter belt. Obviously, the Sotogrande International School is a big feature, so people want to live in the area where it's no more than 15-20 minutes drive to the school. So where we are now is Torre Guadiaro. A bit due east is Bahia de las Rocas, which is actually in Manilva. Then we have some inland towns like San Enrique, San Martin de Tesorillo. Then within Sotogrande, you have the two zones pretty much, which is Costa and Alto, and split in the middle is Pueblo Nuevo de Guadiaro. Then further west, you've got San Roque Club and Alcaldesa, and that's all within 15 minutes drive to Sotogrande.
Okay, and property taxes and fees around Soto?
Property taxes and fees. Okay, so I presume you mean IBI. So for a big villa, let's say a 2 million villa, you're probably paying around 2,500 euros per year. Then you have community fees. So if you're inside different parts of Sotogrande, there are community fees for maintaining the lovely avenues and landscaping the gardens and things like that. A couple of €100 a month. Within different, let's call them urbanizations, you have community fees. The average, for instance, if you're in the port or the marina, would be about 200 a month for a 2-bedroom apartment. Obviously, it's based on square meters, so if you've got a 4-bedroom, you're looking at 350 a month, and that tends to include the contribution to REMS, which is the marina fees as well, again, to maintain that whole area.
Okay, and what is the process of buying as a foreigner in this area?
Well, it's the same as anywhere, right? We talked about this. The process is hook up with a good agent, and they will give you a short list of properties. They'll take you on a tour. They'll recommend a good lawyer. Probably you'll do a power of attorney. You'll figure out what you really like. You make your offer. Then you move forward and you put 10% down. You sign what's called a contrato de arras, which is a deposit contract. That binds you to a certain date to close by. It also binds the sellers to sell to you. If they don't, they have to pay you double back, so you can't get gazumped. So it's a very clear process, and we highlight all of this in our 20 Steps to Paradise. And I quite like it, you know, and if you compare it to the UK method where everybody's in limbo until you exchange, this is quite good because both parties are bound by the contrato de arras. So there's no funny business.
And are there any restrictions for foreigners buying in Sotogrande?
No restrictions at all, unless you're Russian. You know, with sanctions, your money has to be outside of Russia. So there's always anti-money laundering controls. So all of our customers are good people. They're not selling arms or anything like that. So there are no restrictions so long as you can show that your source of funds is from a legitimate place.
Okay, and benefits of living in Sotogrande?
Well, there's loads of benefits. I personally like the quieter life. I like the vibe here. It's very much geared towards outdoor life, sports, obviously golf, sailing, tennis, paddle, you name it, equestrian sports. And people share those sorts of values, very family oriented, and it's easy to get around. If you go to Marbella, you can be stuck in traffic driving to the paddle club or driving to do the school run. Here is so easy. You find parking. The restaurants are centralized in the port and marina area. You've got Torre Guadiaro with a strip of 20 restaurants. So you've got a great launch pad to see the rest of the Cadiz province, go to Seville. That's why people love it.
Absolutely. And the rental market in Sotogrande, what is it like?
Really interesting question. So Sotogrande used to be quite sleepy in the winter. Since Corona, it's become a year-round place. So a lot of our property owners who rent out short-term via our trusted property management partners, they're getting 35 weeks per year. And it used to be 25 weeks per year. You still have that really strong half of July and full August period where all the madrileños come down, the people from Seville, and they will book a block of of your property for, let's say, a month and pay a premium just to have that property for the whole of the summer. And they'll come with a lot of people. Grandma will come along, their 3 kids and things. So it's all about heads on beds in the summertime. And I think that the summer months, let's call it July and August, can pay almost half a year of your mortgage. That's how strong it can be in the summer. And then the rest is gravy. Of course, you have to pay taxes, you have to pay the commissions to your property manager, but most of the time you can average about 5% return on investment after taxes. I've got one investor from the UK who told me he's averaging 8%. That's not bad.
Not bad at all. And the buying process with real estate agents in Sotogrande?
Well, the buying process is the same. Remember, the sellers pay commission. So you have to find an agency that you trust, an agency that has access to everything. You know, for instance, we're on the multi-listing system called Resales Online, so we can see very clearly who has the listing, who's got the keys, how to get in, and we register you to go and see these different properties. And what happens at the end is if we sell a particular property that's not our direct listing, the seller will pay a split commission between ourselves and the listing agent. It's all very well managed, and we make sure everything is a clean process.
Okay, and what are the options for property management and maintenance?
The options for property management, well, there are 2 things you can choose. You can choose a property manager that all they do is go in and inspect your property and make sure that it's well maintained. Or you can go for another type of property manager whose remit is to get you lots of rental bookings. And those are your options. So we know both of those types of property managers.
Okay, and is there an overall trend for buying in Sotogrande?
Yes, there is. The school keeps growing, it keeps attracting foreigners, the reputation keeps getting better. The Sotogrande SA does a great job in promoting Sotogrande. You can see by the types of people that we've brought to the area. So we've got Americans, we've got Danes, we've got people from the Middle East who have had a great expat life and they're trying to recreate that life in Europe so they can be closer to family in the UK, for instance. And they all gravitate towards Sotogrande. It's becoming a place that people understand more. They used to think that it was just for the Spanish elite, but it's not. There are many normal people who come and live here as well.
Okay, and is there a better time of year to buy here in Soto?
Well, I always try and say stay clear of the summer months, because obviously you've just heard that people rent out their properties and make really good money, so it's very hard to get in during August. I always think that at the start of a year, so those months between, let's say, after the New Year to Easter, is a really good time to come. People are making their life decisions. They might want to downsize, so are more open to accepting an offer so that they can then find the house or property that they want to move to. That's a good time, start of a year. And also the tail end of a year is also good. So, October, November time, you can get in easily. And it's quite nice to see something in the winter months, so to speak, so you know how it is at the worst time of the year. Because if you like it in the winter, you're going to absolutely love it in the summer.
Absolutely. And how safe is Sotogrande?
Sotogrande is known for its security. It's a gated community. I made a post recently about my brother-in-law moving from Supercan in the south of France to Sotogrande purely for the security. You've got guard huts, you've got 24-hour patrols. You also have the same in Alcadesa, by the way, and San Roque Club. It's very safe. At the same time, people here do have contracts with Securitas and things. I don't personally have a alarm system, but we live in a safe neighborhood where people look out for each other. WhatsApp groups, my next door neighbors tell us about the coming and goings. It's a community. People look out for each other.
And what are the financing options for buying in Sotogrande?
The financing options are the same everywhere along the Costa del Sol. You can get a mortgage. There's Fluent Finance, who have an office in Pueblo Nuevo, who we work with a lot. There's Tancred at the Finance Bureau. You could go directly to banks, but I think mortgage brokers are the way to go. I use a mortgage broker, even though I've got a direct relationship with Sabadell, because I want to know that I'm not missing out on alternative offers. I'm getting the best rate possible. And something that people don't know is you have to look at the small print of your mortgages. There's something called bonification, which is a great rate if you take life insurance, if you get a pension, and you need to do the full cost of ownership of that mortgage to understand what your true rate is.
Okay. And educational facilities in and around Sotogrande?
Well, my kids go to IES Almenara, my teenage kids, and my younger twins go to Gloria Fuertes. These are public schools. There's a great mix of foreigners and Spanish kids. My kids came not speaking any Spanish. They're fluent in Spanish now. If you can afford it, Sotogrande International School. It is a really good school. I know of clients who have come with kids with learning disabilities, and their kids are really flourishing. And there's such great extracurricular activities from music, drama, art, of course, sport, elite sports. It's a great school. And the teachers I know personally are such lovely people.
And healthcare in the area?
Healthcare, you've got San Enrique Medical Center if you're in the public healthcare system, and you've got Quirón, which is a great place to go to. We go there a lot. Obviously, health insurance is a cost, but for our family, we're paying 120 euros a month, family of 6 with copay. So every visit we pay 25 euros. I know of a couple who have got full coverage, 250 euros a month. They've come from the USA where it was a factor of 10 higher. So they're very happy.
And how accessible is Sotogrande from airports and, such
Very
like?
accessible if you fly into Gibraltar, 25 minutes. Malaga, you're looking at an hour and 10 minutes. Obviously, there's taxis that can go to Malaga from Sotogrande. You're paying about 140 euros for one way, and that will take the toll road. There's also a way to drive to Estepona and take the Avanza bus from Estepona to Malaga Airport. So there's 2 ways in.
And ongoing costs of living in Sotogrande?
Well, the ongoing costs are your community fees, your property taxes, obviously your utilities. If you rent your property, you've got to pay tax on the rental income. If you own as a foreigner and don't rent your property out, the government will charge you a non-resident tax, which is basically 19% times 1% of the cadastral value. So let's say you have a property in the marina with a cadastral value of 400,000. Okay, 1% of that is 4,000. 19% of that is about 20%, so about 500 euros per year. So they assume that you would rent it out, and that's why they give you this taxation.
Okay, and what's happening in terms of new developments around Sotogrande?
Well, within Sotogrande, you've got La Reserva, the jewel of Sotogrande. So you've got Village Verde, which is amazing. I love that. Huge apartments. Around it, you've got places like Senda Chica. You've also got La Finca. There's other developments in La Reserva as well. You've got the Sphere coming. In San Roque Club, Taylor Wimpey have got Emerald Greens. The Pier, which was in the marina by Taylor Wimpey, sold out like that. And then you've got other interesting developments in Alcadesa, like Serenity or Alcadesa Homes. So there's options. There's definitely options in the area.
Okay, and local and cultural activities.
Okay, let's make this the last question, Tracy, because your arms must be getting tired.
Oh, I've wobbled a lot, I'm sorry.
So, well, obviously, a big part of life here is sports. So plenty of golf, tennis, paddle, equestrian events. Cultural, you can go to Seville, 2 hours drive. You can go to El Palmar, which is where we go to. You can go to Tarifa, which is really nice place. In fact, from Tarifa, you can get across the straits and get to Morocco and see Tangiers. We're only an hour and 20 minutes from Malaga, which is a beautiful city to explore. Then you can go to Casares, Gaucin. You can go to all these hilltop towns. Ronda, about 90 minutes drive away. I mean, this is Andalusia. If you can't find culture in Andalusia, then I don't know where you can. And the food seems incredible. Tapas bars, beautiful wine. Go to Jerez, go sherry tasting. Honestly, I think it's the best place I've ever lived, and because of the activities available and affordably.
Me too.